All right, I'm on mute, and then here we go.
Is anyone speaking right now?
I can hear
I,
you.
I yeah, I can hear you. I see
Yeah,
Sorg's
I
mouth
muted
moving.
myself. Okay,
Okay.
pretend you've seen none of everything, none of this.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you supporting us at patreon.com/awesomecast.
That's right. It is the awesome class. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the awesome cast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron here in the hotel room of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Once again, as we do 1, 2, 3 times a year, whatever that is. Missy's behind me working back there. She's in her office. There she is right there. Working away. She's not ignoring us. But we do have with us. I don't know how this looks on the other side. What it's going to be. How the final product's going to be. We'll talk about what we're using to try to stream here. I just signed up for every free trial for this thing. But we do have with us, first of all, from the Duds Cave, social media photographer, girl about town, Katie Dudas is with us.
Hi. My shirt says "Be nice to dogs," but I have a cat in the background. I moved that chair just so you could see the cat.
By the way,
Sneezing.
Zingerman's has a dog calendar I almost bought. I was this close to it.
Oh,
But
you
I'm
know what?
like,
I
oh,
decided we're gonna a month, or I don't. It's gonna be monthly. Whenever I'm Awesome Cast, I will update you on the new Cat Wars image for the month.
mm.
So I have that for the show.
Excellent, excellent. And we also have a block for intern John apparently on here, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. And I don't even know if it's going to look like this on the final product. So, but apparently the stream is going out this way, and so we'll figure it out. Anyways, Dave Podnar of the iPhoneography podcast is also with us.
Glad to be on, Sorg. Glad to be on.
So we've tried Vimeo in the past, and this is going to be my awesome thing of the week. I don't have the audio loaded in here. We've tried Vimeo has their own kind of online StreamYard kind of pull everything in thing, Skype, Zoom kind of streamer. This is Riverside FM. We used this like 2 years ago when we were doing a podcast with Natalie over at Next Pittsburgh for a minute to bring people in and record there. We're like all about using this platform, right? I'm familiar with Zencaster. We've been using that for years with our SAE clients for podcasts. And the idea is, if you're not familiar with it, the idea is it's recording locally on every computer so that afterwards I have the best possible, like no Skype drag kind of. I keep saying Skype. Nobody uses Skype anymore. But all of that streaming buffering crap should be gone, even if it happens during the show on this live stream. so you have a great final product. So I signed up also. Allegedly I'm supposed to teach my kids this in my podcast class in a couple weeks. So I decided there's a great opportunity. I didn't have to set up nearly as much as I usually do. I got a Zoom H1, or I'm sorry, a Zoom H6. I got a headset, and the thing is, I don't have anything I can plug this 1/4 inch into. So I got AirPods underneath here so I can hear you guys. So so that's how we're doing this, and hopefully this is a better quality, since these are the headsets that we use for commentary. Some pretty decent headsets. I've run into pros in commentary for pro wrestling saying, "Oh, that's what we use." It's fun, and we can throw the videos on and everything and do our intros. Although it's fun because we can definitely see us on the bottom of the screen when we do live when we're playing the intros. Thank you for playing along and reacting to the guitar riffs and everything, Podnar, and everybody. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm hoping. I don't know what's going to look like. Like, I know they have editing tools and everything in here, so it's a good kind of starter point to get a little bit higher quality. And I don't even mind this. Like, this is my MacBook Pro camera, and I think it looks pretty okay. So. And it was like this close to, like, I have the 4K Panasonic over there. I'm like, do I do? And I got my A10 Mini from the studio in the bag, and I'm like, do I want to do all this? I was like, you know what? Let's just see how this all looks like by itself. So, but yeah, so Riverside FM again. I'm on like 2 trials right now on this thing to see how it works. I don't even know how much it is a month to do this kind of stuff. But obviously, it's not quite as streamlined as we'd go through the studio with what we have set up.
Well, that was also my question about how much does it cost, because for the iPhoneography podcast, the way we handle it now is that because the audio is what all we put out, even though even though it's broadcast on YouTube, we don't put out a video version of it. So everyone uses their own local, whatever. I use Windows Recorder to record mine. Everyone else is on a Mac that use QuickTime to record their audio. And then Greg, who's the lead host, we put it all in folders. He downloads it and then he syncs it up. We do a count out at the very beginning, very manual. And if this is reasonable, that would be great, because right now it's I think he got the workflow down, but something to take the load off him.
There's definitely great. You can definitely do this in a lot better way. And I also kind of love, I'm looking up the websites over here, and you're like in the corner. It does like kind of a drop down. So again, if you're doing something like that, this one, you have a free thing. You can do 2 hours of multi-track and everything like that, right? And but let me see if I can share this screen in this system here. Nope, doesn't look like it wants to. So let me try entire screen. Nope, I don't know, for some reason that button doesn't go. But anyways, just so FYI, so Rivercast has a 0 deal. The plans start at like $34 a month for 5 hours of multi-track recording. The live studio that we're streaming on is another $15 add-on, so that does add up a little bit. And it says it can go up to 4K quality and all this kind of stuff. There's no watermark or anything like that, so that's kind of nice. And then it goes up, steps up from there. Now for you guys, I actually do recommend Zencastr, because like their standard it starts at about $18 a month, and these are you pay yearly or something like that, right? But they do have, if you want to go month to month, it's $20. So this is Zencastr is what we use for again for the SAE things. They went through a tough, and we've been using them for like since we started doing podcasts with SAE back with Baja in like 2016, 17, something like that. But they've definitely been bringing in a lot of those. Like they have the AI audio video editing, kind of stuff that you can do all the video and audio collectively. It was really easy to convert and just say, hey, let's just bring this over, and turn these podcasts into video. We just pretty much turn the video button on, we record locally, let Zencastr do the remotes, and we pull those two things together actually for what we do, which is more complicated than what these are intended to do. But they've worked out really well. We've got a really good flow with it. So this is the first time where I've gone all in. Let's do the entire show on one of these systems.
No, and I'm looking at the I have the Facebook stream on my phone. That's why I'm occasionally looking down, and the quality is really clear.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with it
Yeah.
so far. So, but again, this is a nice, if you don't have the nice, studio with all the bells and whistles, like this is I definitely, I mean, this is why we're bringing it up in something like a podcasting class, because it's something that you can start and, not have a terrible Zoom podcast thing. Like we have a client that, obviously we have, with SAE, we have people that have security issues. So they can't like use something that downloads locally in the browser like this one is doing right now. So like it's like, well, I guess we're using Zoom, and what we get is what we get, So it takes an item of control away from us, but thankfully, like I can bring them on their own line, it won't interfere and things like that, and we can post that and try to fix things.
Yeah.
But like, if you drop out in the middle of this, I'm not worried because I'm going to have a file later that's going to have whatever you said. If they drop out during a Zoom call, that, hey, can you please say that again? But again, recording for post, we're not doing live. It's also part of that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know security is a big deal. I give part of my job. One of my main part of job is giving trainings virtually, and anytime I have to do anything with the federal government or a contractor for the federal government, we use a platform called Demio for broadcasting, and they're like, yeah, it may be good, but we have to use what we're approved for. So we have to use Teams, or we have to use WebEx occasionally. It's whatever they're approved for. So it's like, okay, I understand security reasons. I'm glad you have security buffers and you don't have a bunch of 20-year-olds trying to run your security system. That's a good thing for the Department of Defense and contractors. Just, it's a bit of a hassle.
It was funny because somebody from a large car manufacturer, we'll just say today, we had to give a presentation. I'm up here for Auto Drive Challenge for the winter workshop. We're doing video and stuff for it, and it was just like I was like, hey, here's a USB to put your presentation to put on this computer, and then watching all the security things he had to approve, like to use that external USB, it was really interesting. But yeah, it's pretty wild. So, Katie, have you messed with anything else like this in your experience over the last couple of years? I know you're working with the JagOps, and they use some really interesting things on their side.
Not so much that I've gotten to play with, but it was really funny when he was Podnar was talking about Teams and we're current security. We're dealing with Read AI right now. Read will essentially pay attention to your meeting, record, give you like after the meeting, they'll be like, here are the highlights, here are the conversations. And then before your next meeting, it'll be like, here are the highlights, here are the conversation, which it runs into an issue. Like I had to use Teams with a healthcare Highmark in town, and they cannot have it. So it was literally the first part of this call was the lady booting all the Read AIs because they just won't go away. And I started our last meeting saying that the Read AI was really hilarious because it just made up some stuff. It was like somebody planning a disco, and I was like, this is so funny. And then the first part of the notes were, Katie is questioning whether Read AI it actually works. And then one of the follow-up questions is like, do we continue to use Read AI? I was like, huh.
That's been there's been something like that. Like I listened to Leo Laporte's This Week in Tech, and he got something that's like a little clip on that apparently listens to everything going on around him all the time, which is another security issue and everything, right? So and it gives him a summary of his day. And it's supposed to be like as you get older, kind of remember things from day to day kind of thing, right? But in his case, it's just really funny to see what it interprets things. And also he's sitting there like much like I am right now. Like if I had that thing on, it's catching my side of a conversation. So how is that reading that conversation? Is it just like Sorg talked to himself for an hour about technology, and pondered AI, kind of thing. So like, I love the idea of it. Like I love the AI idea because it's just like, in the Zoom calls and things, like I love getting that, like, oh, next steps and everything from my business calls and things like that. Right. So, but there is also the question of like, this gets come up a lot. Like if you're in a business call, now you've recorded everything and that's kind of a legal issue. Like, if anything comes of that call and there's any content, now you have a very direct, like, here, this is evidence kind of situation. Not that I don't know, we would be in calls that would be related to something like that. But that's obviously why somebody like, privacy and things like that are why, healthcare wouldn't want to be involved. So, so it, things that we're kind of everybody's dealing with, so it'll be very, very interesting to see where things go with something like this. So, but yeah, in the meantime, I will transcribe the hell out of AI and do all the things I'm doing in the meantime. So I keep bringing up AI tools actually when I talk about podcasting prep, and I'm just like, are you guys allowed to use AI around here at the school? Because and I'm just like, is there a rule on this? Kind of thing. But I'm just like, it's like, hey, this is for this is enhancement. Please proofread, but this is for take your thing, transcribe it, do this, and help, because I know in my class, I don't think anybody's going to become a career podcaster. It's an enhancement on whatever they're doing. So they're not going to hire. They're not. I really don't think they're going to hire. Like, I'm going to hire a person to do social media clips and blah 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 blah. It's like, no, do this. Go CapCut. Do this. Do the clips. Things like, and that's exactly the kind of things we do for this level of show. So, anyways, but yeah, Riverside FM, and again, I will put Zencaster as a side awesome thing because it's literally something I used the other day for a podcast, and it's polls. We had this girl on that podcast will be dropping Thursday on Beyond the Competition with us for AWIM, and we did the whole thing, and I was like, her video is really rough, right? Pulled down the thing, it was 1080, looked pretty decent, pretty good for a webcam, let's be honest, right? But yeah, no, I really appreciate that, and I think the whole show's clean. It's good. People aren't on the best podcasting mics, but it's very listenable. I've heard higher end corporate podcasts that sound a lot worse. So I mean, who hasn't at this point, right? We're like, but it is what it is. And we do what we can to keep that keep that level up and everything too, right? So anyways, let's go down the line. I got to figure out where my sheet is. Katie, let's start with you. Since it's been a while since you've been on the show, what is your awesome thing of the week?
Well, first of all, we're going to bring back the Cat Wars calendar. If you've not been part of the Cat Wars calendar conversation, I received this calendar not just from Sorg, but also our friend Riz. And it's very, you'll see, January. Let's recap January. January was to seek high ground for a path to the light. So we are kind of taking Star Wars type conversations. Speaking of AI, is what I'm probably guessing
Sounds almost
this is.
biblical or something.
Mm-hmm. And so for February, we have trained for this. I have Fuzzball with cats, with their lightsabers. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. This is my motivation for February is train for this. I have Fuzzball. That is for this month. And we'll be back for March for that episode of Cat Wars. But my awesome thing of the week is, so we kind of had this conversation where Sorg and I, Sorg talked about how I travel, I have my Kindle, and I have this little doohick thingamabob and this little button. And what this does is it's a remote control page turner. So essentially it takes up this much space. Like you can change the margins. Like I have a little bit larger margins so it's not blocking anything. And then when I click this, I go forward. Woo! So you don't have to, like you could have this, I'll have this set up away from me so I'm not like holding it at all pretty much. I could have it on a stand of any sort and just sit back and read and just click through things. I get through books much faster that way because it's not, tap, tap, tap. You're just kind of like do. But yeah, that's something I've gotten for Amazon. I think I dropped it in the thing. It is like $15.99. It's on sale, 20% off. But it comes in pink and white, at least through this. Everybody has one. At one point, Target had one. Walmart has a version. Everybody has a version. Depending on how far you're into it, I've seen customized wrist straps. I've seen these bedazzled. Because I'm part of some Kindle groups on Facebook, and you get really into all of this. It's just USB-C to charge both of these. Bluetooth, easy peasy. I love it. Doesn't take up much space at all. And yeah, ta-da! Click, click, click. Just sitting here clicking.
And of course, it's listed under the super worldly remote control page turner for Kindle, Paperwhite, Oasis, Kobo readers, da 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 da. And again, page turner, just like Kindle page turner, is going to come up with this thing. I think. Let me double check that real quick. But yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, it's like the first one that comes up actually. Whenever I type that in, maybe because I just clicked on it, but I don't know. So
I imagine it's pretty light though.
Yeah, it's light.
Yeah, okay.
Holds the charge for a long time. I can't even remember the last time I charged this guy.
Yeah, that's great.
But that's all the bigger it is. And you go together, and they go about their days.
Now, it's been a while since I've seen Kindles. Do you have a smaller Kindle, or is that the standard size these days?
This is a little bit smaller one, little guy. Little guy. I forget which one this is, but it's much smaller, very thin, way less than my phone does. I don't know if you want to. I have a Pro 15 Pro Max, so you're seeing the size.
Yeah, that is.
It's just like it's like a fatter Pro.
And much skinny. Like Pro. It just nothing. I throw this in a bag all the time. I have a screen protector on it. I got a clear case, so you can put whatever you want behind it. I change the sticker out when I want.
I mean, it looks like it's smaller than a paperback book.
Yeah.
Or around maybe the size of a small paperback book.
Yeah, it's
not
nice.
Not thickness, but
size-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
I should have paid attention to which one I have. There's a bunch that this isn't the paper light, but I should look and see. I will let you know. Something else interesting if you're getting back into Kindles. I don't know if you can see the text, but you see how the letters are spaced different and different. There's different weight on each of the letters. This is a dyslexic font, but it also works well for folks who have like ADHD, or like if you happen to skip ahead. Like I have that's a bad habit where I'll read and I'll be like, all right, blah, 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 I'm going to jump down here. So this keeps, because you're paying attention, because everything, like the letters are a little bit different, the weight wise, there's a little bit different spacing. So it's not so like this that I actually read this a lot faster too, because it's just something more I can pay attention to without just like.
You have me interested because I just upgraded. I'm about a week in of my new progressives because the close up was going for me. I've been kind of thinking about, because I kind of gave up on reading books like years ago. It just fine. I'm going to do audiobooks. I can read comic books. That's fine. But like I found myself kind of getting shaky on it. Like I just couldn't hold attention on it. And I think I did have that like skip ahead kind of a problem too. Like I would just kind of like roll over it, but not actually read it, if that makes sense. So I've been wanting to like grab something, and I got a couple books on my shelf, like like Fully books and Chris Jericho books that I never got back to. And, like I'm considering giving those a shot and seeing if like it's better now that I've corrected my classes for the first time since 2013 was the last time I had an eye exam, by the way. So so I'm literally walking around with new eyes at this point. So but now I'd be curious about that and see if that extra font kind of maybe helps out a little bit too. So.
Yeah, because I didn't even realize it was a thing, and somebody had talked about it, and like I said, this Kindle group, and they were saying how much of a difference it made in reading, and I was like, I don't know if it does that, and I was shocked how much I don't do that. I don't skip ahead like I used to, or I read things much faster. Oh, device info. Does this will tell me which Kindle I have? 11th generation. Okay, that doesn't tell me anything. I have an 11th generation Kindle.
Whatever that means.
Hey!
But so interesting. Back to the Riverside thing. I can hear more. Zoom apparently does a lot for the background thing. Like I can hear Podnar typing. So, I mean, hopefully those will go. I'll work all those out in editing later. But it's really interesting, kind of the A/B test when things. I need to just hit my mic. I'm sure that's heard too. But yeah. So Podnar, speaking of you, since you got my attention with your tippity types, what's your awesome thing of the week? Really, we're along the same line here, it seems.
Well, somewhat, yeah. This is actually something I was listening to the morning stream today with Scott Johnson and Brian Ibbett, and one of their callers said, "I noticed when people do voicemails to you, the quality sucks." And Scott said, "Yeah, it does suck because he has like a Google Voice line. People call in, leave a voicemail, and he plays it back, and it sounds like a 1980s telephone recording. It's really bad. And one of the listeners said, "Hey, I made an app that may match for you here." So it's called voiceline.app, and it's not really a phone in, it's a way you can leave a voice message, but it's set up specifically for something like a podcast where you get your own URL. It's free. You get so much storage at no cost, and you get your own vanity URL. So it's voiceline.app slash, whatever you want to have. And you can just tell people, go to the website. You don't have to create a login. It works mobile or on the desktop. You record your voice. There's no limit on how long it can be. And it records the voice and then sends the file to the podcaster who set up the account with an AI transcription. So you can have someone say, "Hey, if you want to leave a voice message, go to the site, record your message, it gets sent to you." So you can just take that audio file, import it in, or listen to it, and then use the transcription and say, "Okay, is this something I really want to spend time listening?" If someone leaves a 4-minute message, is it something I want to leave a 4-minute message, or is this a prank call?
Which is important as somebody who used to have people do call-ins on their voicemail and had live call-ins on the show on TalkShoe back in the day.
So, now I haven't tried it, but I tend to trust Scott because, he has an exceptionally large platform in terms of his podcast. So, and the viewers, basically the Frog Pants group, the listeners to his stuff, and the Diamond Club group, that's the former Twit people who kind of moved out. So we're talking legitimately large group of high-tech people. So and like I said, it's free. You don't have to put in a credit card, which is always great, and it sounds high quality and it's easy to set up. And they, on their page, they do have a walkthrough, a video walkthrough of how it works. So it's clean and easy. And yeah, you get 100 megabytes of permanent storage and the transcripts for free, no credit card, no time limits.
So as you've been talking, I created pages for both this, the AwesomeCast, and the Wrestling Mayhem Show, and put them in your chat. So in the chat here on Zencaster, and I put one over on Facebook as well. And intern John, if you could please send out tweets for both shows tonight using those links, encouraging people to use it, because let's do this. Let's experiment with this thing this week and see if anybody bites on it, first of all. And let's see if we can test it next week.
Sounds good. I remember for Mayhem Show, you did have the phone number. And something happened, and
I think it died. I'm pretty sure Google Voice died because we didn't get an email saying they keep it alive, like I'm getting right now on my phone lines, because I've just had to verify my business one this week. So I'm getting a lot of services saying, "Hey, do you still want to exist?" Photobucket just hit me up. Daily Motion, so they're going to delete any videos that haven't been watched lately, things like that. I just saw an article about Facebook's going to mass delete old live streams. So we'll see what happens there. Anyways, so that is voiceline.app if you want to check that out. It's free to start, and let us know your experiences with it too. Let's take a moment here to thank our friends over at patreon.com/awesomecast. Hey, when I'm kind of having a weird week where I'm like, oh, I'm traveling, I don't want to run a show. It's like, no, people are paying for this show, guys. So I'm very interested to make sure you guys get what you're paying for, and make sure that helps motivate this show to keep happening here, to know at least some of you are listening in dedicated show and putting something into it. So that really opens that up for us. So thank you so much to our friends out there. First, executive producer, excuse me, I don't have any actually feedback in my head, so in these giant headphones, so I get a little, I think, slurry sometimes when I can't really hear myself. But no, thank you, Brian Crawford of the new Pittsburgh exhibition. I'm trying to remember. I think it's a sequence. His project out there on the social medias. Cynthia Klosky, John DeGore, and of course, Dave Podnar of the iPhoneography podcast. You guys support the show too. When we're not on the road and doing crazy stuff, we do put extra content out at patreon.com/awesomecast. So, Dave Podnar, you have an old school thing of the week.
Yes, and actually, I was just leaving a message on the AwesomeCast line, so that's what I was doing during the
Literally just
Patreon
right
feed.
now.
Yes.
You've been doing that.
Mhm.
Maybe I can pull it up by the end of the show. No, I don't even know how I can interface it here.
But okay, yeah. So I wanted to do not necessarily an awesome thing, but an awesome person.
Okay.
Because this is February and it's Black History Month, I wanted to pull up someone who was early on for video games that you may not hear of, but very important for the very early on. This gentleman named Jerry Lawson. He did have a Google Doodle on his birthday last year. So he started early on, went to Queens College and the City College of New York, left for Palo Alto right when it was about becoming Silicon Valley. So we're talking mid 70s. He started to work for Fairchild Semiconductor as a consultant. Old. A few years later, he was director of engineering and marketing for their video game department. And they created what they called the Fairchild Channel F system because F is for fun. And it was the first video game console that featured interchangeable game cartridges, an 8-way digital joystick, and a pause menu. So basically, it was his team that helped develop basically what we think of video games, home video games, where you have an interchangeable cartridge. Before then, your game was whatever your game was. If you bought a Pong home game, you played Pong on it and that's it. There was no, oh, I'm just going to buy a cartridge and switch out now and then. So he started to make his own software. They did create software for the Atari 2600. And basically, Atari blew up because you bought the console and you could buy interchangeable games and it was a simple joystick. I know it wasn't as good as the Nintendos and, the Sega and the Sonys with the multi-button joystick. But for the early 80s, you could have something at home that was reliable, robust, because people drop stuff. But it was a simple left, right, up, down joystick with a button on it. And this was early on. So it didn't, unfortunately, his company didn't survive, but one of the pioneers. And you just don't think of 1970s Palo Alto, Silicon Valley with an African American gentleman. Mm-hmm. You think the Steve Jobs, the Wozniaks, if I said, imagine, early pioneers for most people, you would think nerdy white guy. And there were African Americans out there. There were women out there. There were other people of color. And it's just the history that just does not get promoted.
Yeah.
So I think it's just important that, we recognize the people who were there and not just, I hate to say the term, whitewash it, because it was multicultural out there. There were tons of people out there doing their things who were geniuses at the time, who introduced new things that we all use now.
And by the way, I've been playing the game while you've been talking about this. This is great, and it's actually you can design your game. It's a little kind of Mario type of plague here. Like it's pretty cool. This is really extensive, actually. So I definitely recommend that. That's the Gerald Jerry Lawson's 82nd birthday Google Doodle, and that's an awesome old school thing of the week. Cool, awesome. So. Katie, which of these items on here do you want to bring up next on the show?
Ooh, what can I bring up next? What's this? Listen, Easy Pass.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask anything by Easy Pass because, wow, Easy Pass.
So I got a notification about this because I was in my Easy Pass adding my rental car for this trip up here, right? And so I'm like, okay, what's this about? So, and they have a little bit of information page. It's linked there in the notes for you guys. It's a non-toll pilot program that uses Easy Pass for touch-free payments for gas and off-street parking. There's even lines in here about like this is kind of perspective. Currently, they say it is live at locations in Massachusetts and in North Carolina, and other locations to enroll. So, uh, you know, it says that any purchases are not applied to your toll account. So the idea is I pull up to a gas station. It has an Easy Pass sensor, sees my Easy Pass, turns on the pump. I pay my gas. I put gas in and that's it. No cards, no handling, no attendant, because of course they're in Jersey. Everything goes through an e-receipt automatically. It says no cost to participate. So this is generally, pay by car, kind of thing. Applying that kind of drive-through that we enjoy. Can I say enjoy on the turnpike? Yeah. So like that's kind of cool. And there's items in here about like there's lines in here about fast food maybe also applying to this as well. It says touch-free transactions like buying gas, fast food drive-thrus, and parking. So I'm really curious to see what jumps on this, especially since Easy Pass isn't necessarily all the way across the country, right? Like you're kind of talking about like a very populated section, but still it seems really kind of big. It's really interesting, and it's one of those like perspective that they deliver on this promise. I'm not going to North Carolina or Massachusetts anytime soon to see how well this works or anything like that, but I am really kind of curious about this. And also, like, I guess they just kind of hold a second credit card and it comes out of that instead of your Easy Pass bucket, I guess you could say, right?
I mean,
I'm in the. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm in the pay by car for business, and it's a seamless way to grow profits. What it does for your business is on arrival identification, customer intelligence, increased loyalty, customer retention, cut costs, lower operational costs, versatile integration, gas, parking, drive-thrus, and more. So yeah, you can schedule a call to get your businesses on this.
Well, even think about right now how certain providers, BP, Sunoco, Sheets for us, like you can pull up and just kind of pay by phone, right? Like pull it up, don't get out of your warm car and start the pump up, Like, so imagine making that even more integrated and a little more streamlined on top of that, what could be really interesting.
Well, we've talked we've had conversations about what's nice about like the Sheets app and other apps is like the danger of credit card skimmers are everywhere. And it doesn't, like a lot of these places like fast food, gas pumps, and whatever convenience stores. So yeah, that's like the ability to just be like and not have to give you my information, friend.
Yeah, especially how many times we just had this. I couldn't buy anything at Target because we know how we discovered like certain Sheets or gas stations in the middle of Michigan near the Speedway are like you can't like my credit card company, my credit card bank, right? It was my debit card actually. It says, we will not let you. It's a security fraud alert if you're at certain locations where we know that this is an ongoing situation. Apparently, the Target in Ann Arbor, Michigan, is one of those locations that I couldn't buy anything with my card. I had to throw everything on an Apple Pay wallet in order to purchase something I need for this job, right? So, like this again, it kind of like separates you and puts a buffer in there, hopefully, for something like that. Podnar, you were about to say something there.
Well, yeah, I was just looking up where Easy Pass for tolls is accepted, and kind of shorthand, it's Northeast U.S. Except for Connecticut and Vermont for some reason. The Midwest, so Ohio, Indiana, let's say Kentucky, which I know isn't Midwest, but Illinois, North Carolina, Florida, and it's coming to Georgia and Minnesota. So a good hunk of the east of Mississippi of the country.
Absolutely.
So it, like Absolutely. You said, it is a good amount, and I'm kind of wondering if how much. I'm thinking about more on the store end. How much the transponders are, they'll have to install, or if it'll be, we'll give you the transponder, the reader for the store to install, but we'll just take a small percentage.
Yeah, that seems like the best way for it.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of curious for a moment because you said about not in Vermont. Vermont, there's toll roads, but they're cash only for some of the features of the state, the parks or something like that. And I was curious of Connecticut because I think your blank outs may simply Connecticut doesn't have any toll roads, so that's why that's blanked out
Oh,
there.
wow.
So, but if you don't, but the problem is if you don't have any toll roads, you don't have Easy Pass, so this doesn't work. But I mean, but again, this is an additive thing. Think like you had Netflix. You had Netflix DVDs and they added streaming, right? You have Netflix streaming and they added video games. You're not here for the video games, but it's a nice to have. You already have Easy Pass because you have a damn turnpike, but also that means you travel a bit and you probably would like to get gas on the turnpike at least.
Honestly, that would be nice.
That's the first place. That's the first place you start. Put every Sunoco on the Ohio Turnpike has the Easy Pass pay. Boom, you're in. Then I don't know. Well, there's no drive-throughs because at those travel plazas, but there could be. There could be a roll-up kind of thing. Wouldn't it be great if they had a drive-through that I could take my pick of the Burger King, Panda Express, and Sbarro at the travel plaza the other day? It's like it's the best drive-through ever.
Or combo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're basically being run by the same people back there, so why not? But I mean, now you start seeing like it's not just like, oh, I have Easy Pass and a random place in Columbus where there's no toll roads is going to have Easy Pass, right? Like it's going to be, I think it's going to be additive. I think it's going to be connected for something like this. So
yeah, I mean, and I'm just again trying to think from like the store side for it being sent out. Like a lot of stores didn't want to use Google Pay or Apple Pay because they lost the information about the customer.
Walmart still doesn't.
No, and they're trying to make it as a positive. It's like, no, I want to do the Apple Pay. I don't want you to have my information.
It's a positive for them because they have your information. You're logged in that they forced you to make.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't trust apps that I have to put either apps that you have to put your credit card or a bank account in.
That's scary. That's actually scary.
I think that's what Walmart makes you do is it makes you put in your bank account information. Now, if it's a debit or credit card, you can cancel those in case something gets hacked. And with a credit card, there is that limit, of course. Your bank account, you could be SOL. So, yeah.
Very interesting. This is one I think both of you will be very interested, especially you, Katie. I think you're going to love this one. You see the double MagSafe rings article that I have there, and it has a TikTok. So the idea is you have two MagSafes, which can, you can attach yourself if you have like a MagSafe sticker ring that you put like on a wall or over your bed or something. Or you can use it as a stand, or even better, you can MagSafe two phones together. Listen, I was curious, I didn't know exactly how I was going to do this setup. So I brought a little bit of something, and I could just imagine using all of my MagSafe at one time. Some of these are old enough. I don't think they have MagSafe, but you get the idea, right? Like that kind of idea. I mean, even as it is, we've done multiple phones on things like where we have to use TikTok and things on, 880 or something like that. So to have both of them up, they're doing different things, maybe with different providers or something like that. So it was that was ridiculous but fun things I got to see. And there's a good video from Verge on this from TikTok that kind of goes off on some, it talks about a lot of these, a lot of things you could do with a double MagSafe ring or something like this. It says it's kind of bulky to put in your wallet, but also the ones they're showing. Somebody's playing Pokemon Go right beside playing Pokemon card game, for instance, or some of them are you're using like the foldable Samsung ones next to another one. So they're getting kind of crazy with it on these samples that they're doing. But they say that when you buy this thing, it does come with two of those little rings, so you can stick them on something where you're, maybe next to your desk, where you're like, I got a wallet next to my desk, I'm gonna just stick my phone there, so it's on there or something like that. So they're pretty cool. Katie, I feel like you could come up with something to do with these things.
I scrolled all the way down to it's like a $24 something. Kamola offers a cold shoe mount in addition to 3 tripod holes, no swivel.
What? Yeah,
So yeah,
they are just all different kinds, aren't they?
yeah, and I like so it looks like so your tripod it goes across here, and then one of these things is up and one of these things is down. So
Oh,
yeah, like
okay.
how.
One can be the camera, one can be the teleprompter.
There you go.
Oh man, this is like a vlogger's dream come true. This one has 3 holes
Perfect.
in it. Oh wow, I didn't even think about them putting like mounts on this for tripods. Oh man, this is gonna have to go in my wish list. Jeez, what about you, partner? What are you seeing out of this for possibilities?
Yeah, I'm definitely, and the first thing that popped in my head was a tripod or photography, because I know like Shane Austin, who has the Bloody Legends channel, who does a lot of night photography. His favorite tripod is a MagSafe tripod. So he has the tripod up there, just put your phone right on the back of it. So I could see that, let's say you need to move things, or you can use it to other ways or connect 2 things to it. Like you said, or, attach the phone here, attach a flash that you can do magnetically to it or something else to it. So yeah. I mean, I don't think it's for everyone, but I can definitely see uses for it though.
You can look at like if you're looking at it to say this solves my problem of X, you are very particular have a particular needs that this thing will fill up. So Dave, by the way, I did listen to shortly of your yeah, that's some really good quality really good quality message over there in voice line, by the way. So wait, how do I add a message? Or is it messed up because I'm logged in? I mean, that's it. I gotta do a different browser or something, don't I? Oh.
And I was muted. Yeah, I think you. If
okay, I thought it was me.
Yeah. No, it was me.
Okay.
No, yeah, it was. So yeah, the problem was, yeah, I think it is, since you're logged in, you're getting the back end look.
Yeah,
And
I went to a different browser, has record and everything like that, and you can fill in all your stuff.
And honestly, the way I record that, I was just holding my phone in front of me.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I wasn't using a headset or anything else. So it was just picking up the room.
Nice. I love it. All right. Anything else you guys want to poke at here before we head out? I guess all I have left is video games, and there's new AIs that we won't.
Video games.
Video games it is.
Free video games. You had 2 of the best words.
Yes. I actually do this, and I don't get to actually sit down and play a lot of these, but I've said, like, I have a reminder every week to pull up the Epic Game Store and like just to get the like, this is my, some people like pull up games and like that's their like dopamine hit. Me is every week pulling up Epic Games and Prime Gaming and hitting you just got this game for free. Will I pay it? Probably not, but it's a game I have, and now my Epic Game Store like has like 80 some games in it, right? But there was an article kind of talking about how much they've given away. They said they've given away the amount of games that if you hit free every time they did it. And also think there's once a week they have 1 or 2 games, but also during holidays, especially Christmas, they do like 12 days of games and stuff like that, right? And I usually lose track of it and don't get all of them. But it said if you hit that on everything in 2024, you came away with $2,229 worth of games. That's incredible. And they've had everything from like GTA 5 and stuff like that on there. It's some pretty cool stuff. If you look at Prime Gaming, the one thing I like with that, have you tried Luna lately, guys? Which is their like GeForce Now Game Pass streaming. I started playing with it a little bit because I got a new Fire TV stick because we were watching pay-per-views at the studio and we were using, what was it, probably a Chromecast or something that kept dropping. So I'm like, I just need to get some new technology. Maybe that will fix things. And I was like, oh, Luna, I haven't tried that for a while. They started importing games from Epic Game Store. Not a lot, but you can do like the Fortnite stuff on there. if you have games from GOG.com, which is part of Prime Gaming, gives you a lot of games on GOG.com. There's a number of those games that are in there. If you have an Ubisoft account where they gave out some free stuff or you bought some stuff, that's now part of that. If you have everything connected, like it'll give you that. Or there's a lot of free games that Prime gives you that are under the Prime installer that are also in there too. So even I started playing Watch Dogs on the TV. And I was playing Watch Dogs through, I think it's through the Ubisoft account back on GeForce Now when I was first starting. It still has my save game on a whole different platform.
Whoa.
I'm like, I don't even know how it did that. It must be just uploaded to Ubisoft or something like Game Pass does or Xbox does. So pull that up if you have some of these and see what comes up if you're a PC gamer of some sort, because it's really kind of fascinating. And now I'm just like, oh, I could just like load one of these games up randomly on my TV in the studio, and I'm also now I want like a Fire TV stick on like hanging off of every TV I have. And they're $20. I got the $20 HD one and it plays everything tremendously better than the $80 TVs with it built in, honestly. So yeah, absolutely. So worth looking at. Yeah, Epic has been doing this for a while, but it gets you to install install the app and on your computers or your phone if you're in the EU, I guess, and brings you into that ecosystem. They're trying to compete with Steam, of course, right? So this is a big one for them. So I don't know how long they're going to keep doing it, but I think it's a pretty cool thing if you want to stack up your games like that. Some of the games are PC, or some games are compatible with Mac too. Not always the games I want to play, but there's definitely a number of them I can install on my computer. So same with GOG.com. Yeah, it's an option. It's like, it's not everything. It's kind of disappointing because they're like, oh, I want to play this. Nope, that's PC only. Okay, or only the first Tomb Raider is available and not the other ones. Right? Things like that. So worth looking at. So, anyways, where are we? Losing track because everything's in Windows. On that note, we should wrap this up. I don't want this to go too long because I got to figure out how to edit it on hotel Wi-Fi, guys. So and I keep leaning in, and I realize how huge I'm going to be on the screen when I try to process this later. So you guys got anything else you want to touch base on the way out the door, or I'm off kilter here? Anyways, thank you, Katie. Good to see you back on the new do and everything. Good, nice for you to get a new haircut for the coming back on the show.
Yeah, new cut, new color. It's all different. And also the cat slept through the whole show.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Even when we're talking about Cat Wars.
Boss. Yep.
KatieDudas.com. You can see what's going on with Katie over there. And Dave
thanks.
Podnar. Dave Podnar at the iPhoneography podcast, Prof Pod on most of the social media.
Yep, Prof Pod except for TikTok, where it's Prof Pod PGH.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I may get a new do, but there's not much left to do up there.
I don't know. You get a little streak up there or something, you think, Katie?
Get this, make a mohawk maybe?
I was just going to say mohawk. Pink mohawk.
Yeah, just shave it underneath. That's what I did.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Do it.
I'm at Sorgatron on all the social medias. I'm in here in Ann Arbor for the next day or so. I'll be back here in Pittsburgh for classes and training, and then off to Philadelphia doing a little bit of work out there. I'm actually going to be University of Pennsylvania is where we're going. Going to see the... Actually, I don't know what I'm allowed to say yet. So I'm just going to leave that. You'll find out when I find out. So I think it's public, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know, a lot of stuff with NDAs on it. So today, so I should probably shut up. Anyways, thank you everybody, and we'll see you guys next time. We're going to see if I can figure out how to do an outro on this show, which hopefully in the post edit it won't matter. See you guys until next time. You've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. Oh, it cut everything out when I did that. Stop the recording. Where is it? Oh, and the live stream went off too. Oh, apparently if you stop recording, everything shuts off.
I have successfully uploaded.
Yes.
That's what it says for me too.
They upload as you're doing the show now.
Oh, that's nice.
Which scares me because you're